Alrighty, we're upgrading a very, very nice luxury apartment. We're putting up this Allen plus Roth wall light. Here in the country I was born in, we use 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bigger the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a 110, 120 volt switch loop or a 220, 240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. And what we're going to be using here is called wiremold. So I'll show you how to install this nice new wall light. Okay, so first we'll take this outlet off here. And you should never paint over an outlet. Yeah, can you run down and shut it off?
I already did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I thought you knew that. I thought that's why you were recording.
Oh, okay. I started recording. Yes, I just started recording. Okay. So let's give John another good compliment because that one video, it got blocked. And so the landlord here is a very nice gentleman. I enjoy helping him. And he's one of the better landlords. He takes good care of his tenants and his property. So what's your opinion, Sandra?
John is definitely my favorite landlord that I've ever had. He works with me, even though I'm in a special program that is for people that need financial help. He helps.
For Section 8.
And yeah, and a lot of landlords in the area do not do that. So I'm very, very lucky to get the size apartment that I get because it's a very large 2-bedroom for the price that I get it, because I couldn't get this size bedroom apartment with any other landlord in Oneida, that's for sure. So that's why he's my favorite landlord ever.
Yes, and he has a very good reputation around town too.
To be honest with you, I think his reputation could be better. To be honest with you, but I think what it is that he has slummy tenants.
Yes.
Anybody that calls him a slumlord, they're slummy tenants, is what it is.
Oh yes, I would say
they're
so.
slummy tenants. It's the pot pone, the kettle black type attitude is what it is. It's not at all the truth. Not at all. Not at all the truth. And we do have a 2-bedroom apartment if any of your viewers are interested in one.
Okay.
We
are looking for very good tenants. So
yeah. Yep. Clean tenants that take care of the apartment and won't run it down.
okay, so we'll put our piece on here that's going to go to our switch.
I'm just going to be in my office for a little bit.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay, so our switch is going to go on here like this. The box will go on here like this. And I'll just tap it down in. See how it sits in the bottom like that? That's how you're supposed to have it. It's nice to see that the outlets are made here in the country I was born in. That's a nice thing to see. And we're going to have to replace this one that got painted over because you don't want to get paint inside your outlets. So we'll just push it in like that. Make sure we're in on both sides here. We'll just tap it in a little bit. We'll make sure it's nice and straight here. And we'll put one screw here. Make sure it's straight. And we'll get another one down here. And we got to get a green screw in here to bond our switch and our box together. So we'll tighten this up. So we'll put our black, our white, and our ground through here. I'll cut a piece of tail wire off of here to go to our outlet up on this end. So now we can get this end wired here. We'll cut them so they're all even here. Put our red wire nut on here. And we'll put our ground wires back into the back of our box here. See if we can use this box. Yeah, we can use this one. So we're gonna open up our knockouts here. Put our wire mold through. So let's put this one right here. Make sure it's nice and tight. We're in our track on both sides here. We have a wire mold strap here in the middle. I think it's down just, yeah, it looks straight, so I'll put our strap in the middle right here. So we'll install one of these outlets here that are made in the country I was born in. Our outlets are polarized. The black wire goes on your brass screw, which is the narrow slot. Your white wire goes on the silver screw, which is the wider slot. And your ground goes on the green screw, which is this half circle hole, which is our ground. Make sure it's nice and tight. Close our loop the direction our screw turns. Make sure our copper stays under the screw head all the way around and our insulation's not pinched. Make sure our copper is under the screw head all the way around. And our insulation is not pinched under our screw head. And we'll flip it around and we'll do our black wires. We'll keep our ground down here on the bottom. You always make your loop the direction your screw turns. Make sure our copper is under the screw head all the way here. Our insulation is not pinched. And that's what we want. Just like that there. Get our last black wire up here on our brass colored screw. Make sure it's nice and tight. Make sure our copper is under the screw head all the way around and our insulation's not pinched. Now make sure it's good and tight. Make sure our copper is under the screw head all the way around. Our insulation's not pinched. Now we can get this into our box. Tighten it by hand so we don't strip our holes out. I'll get it centered on our box here. Okay, this is our piece that's going to go up to our light. It's going to be right up here. Okay, so we'll put our box on here for our light fixture. Goes on here like this. Make sure our tongue gets under the gets seated in there like that there. Make sure it gets seated in here all the way. Make sure it's nice and straight. And we'll screw it on our wall here. We'll get a couple more screws in here. Get a couple more screws up here. Hey, we got a nice solid stud up there. That's nice. So we'll break open a tabby here on our box. Tighten down all nice and snug. Make sure I'm in my track all the way around. Okay, so one thing you can do to save a wire nut is we'll feed the white wire straight up to go to our light. Just tighten the screw back up. So that will save a wire nut. We have to put our green screw in here to bond our ground wire to the box. But I'm going to drill a little hole with a sheetrock screw so it doesn't push our box out. And I'll just stick another screw in here for more extra security. Put our grounding one right here. And we'll feed our black and ground to go up to our light. We'll go around our green screw here. Pull it up so it stays under our screw head all the way around here. So there's our ground connection here. I'll cut it about right here. This will be our tail wire to go to the switch. I'll use a Wago. Make sure your copper comes all the way up. Now I'll bring the camera over here closer so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay, so make sure your copper comes up to the top. Make sure you see your copper all the way. Make sure you see your copper all the way up at the top on these. And we'll get our box on the wall here. So we're going to break out two little tabbies here. One on the side and one on the top. We're going out the middle. Since we're using the 500 series, we don't break out the top portion of that notch.
How's it going, David?
Good, good.
Oh, you're doing this part.
Yeah, I got that part done.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Good.
Well, let me know when you're done with this part, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Come on, bud.
Make sure we're in our track on both sides here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to strip our wires and get our switch hooked up here. So we'll get our ground wires back in here out of our way. Push them all the way to the back so they stay away from our live terminals. We always switch the live wire. You never switch the neutral. So we'll put our ground on our green screw here. Make sure it's nice and tight like that. Get our 2 hot wires hooked up here. Make sure it's nice and tight. Make sure we don't get our copper or insulation pinched under the screw head. Okay, so we have our 2 wires hooked to the switch and our switch is grounded. Okay, so we'll make our wires go into our box. Make sure our ground wires are away from everything here so it doesn't touch anything we don't want it to touch. See if I can get any wires. And we'll tighten that up by hand so we don't strip our holes out. Get it centered here. Here in the country I was born in, down is off, up is on. So now we're ready to go and hang our light fixture. Okay, now we're ready to do the last part of our step here. We'll cut our wires nice and short. So we don't have them too long here. So we'll get our bracket mounted here. put it on. Okay, so it's going to go on like this here, and this is going to go up and down like that. We'll have our ground screw on the bottom. Alright. I'm going to use the shorter screws, and unfortunately they don't fit, so we're not getting upset. It doesn't pay to get upset. If you don't have the right ones, you don't have them, that's all. Yep. You just don't have them. So.
You okay?
Yep, doing good. Something doesn't fit, it just doesn't fit. You don't get all bent out of shape. That's not going to make it fit. So we'll just do it the hard way. We'll just shorten down some screws, the screws that came with the fixture, like this. We'll get it centered on our box here. Get it so it's centered as we can get it there. So it's going to go like that. So we'll cut our other screw. Cut it nice and short so we don't hit our wires underneath. There we go. Okay, so we'll get this to be straight like this here, up and down. It's tight. This one's tight. Okay, we have a green ground screw here. We got to bond to our box. If it fits, it fits. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. We're not going to get upset. We just have to go without. That's all. Just go without. You can't let not fit bother you. Can't let stuff like things not fitting bother you. Just can't, because what good is it going to do? Nothing. Complaining isn't going to make it go. So what good is it? But fortunately it fit. We'll tighten our ground wire to our box. So now we have our black and our white and our ground wire to hook up to our light fixture. So we'll cut our wires, took our light up. Strip our white and our black. Okay, I'm going to use yellow wire nuts because this is number 12 wire. Okay, so we have our, I'm going to strip these wires a little longer so I get a nice wrap around our solid wire so I get a nice good connection. So I'll start with our ground wire here. I'll wrap it around our solid wire. Get them even on the end here. Get our wire nut on here. Okay, so we'll get our insulation even at the top here, bring our strands down. We'll wrap our strands around our solid wire like this. Get the copper even at the end and our insulation even at the bottom. Get nice and tight, and we'll do the same with our white wire here. Get the insulation at the top, even like that. Bring our strands down, we'll wrap our strands around our solid wire like that there. Put our copper wire nut on here. And I just like to look inside the wire nut, make sure insulation is up inside all the way. Make sure they're tight. Now we can just push our wires into our box. Make sure it's nice and tight here. I'll make sure no wires are pinched anywhere. Okay, we'll go downstairs and we'll put our gloves on here. Gotta be careful not to get these cross-threaded because that's very tricky and hard to get them off. Make sure it's up in there nice and snug. Sandra, you can go down and turn it on. Oh, not yet.
Do you want to eat first and then you can do those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you can go down.
Let me go.
And I need light bulbs.
I have like, I don't know if I have 4. I might have 3. I'm gonna get back up.
Oh, okay. Alrighty, so that is how to use wire mold to add a nice wall light here in the country I was born in. Peace. Thanks for watching.